I saw you on the Insider Trading, and I'm sure a lot of people saw it on social media. You did have some Flames news. Nice of you guys in the East to pay attention to us, little guys out here in the West. Again, it's another one of those things. It's nothing that's pressing or imminent, but the Craig Conroy and the Flames are good chance they're going to be involved in some way, shape, or form moving forward towards the deadline here.
Yeah, and look, this isn't news breaking. We've talked about it before, and everybody knows that, the Flames would like to add a centerman, but, Connie got a little more specific on the Rain Dregs podcast, which dropped yesterday, and talked about kind of the type of centerman that he's looking for. And it's a pretty age-appropriate individual, somebody who, again, is going to grow with this group, but somebody they can lock into for the next 3 to 5 years. And he's talking about a top 6 guy here. So a 1-2 center. And he realizes that that's a lofty wish list. I mean, who's parting with a piece like that that's quality? It's very, very unlikely, but you got to put your lines in the water, and he's done that. And then furthermore, you look down the path and you see the March 7th trade deadline. And, as we're talking here, we know the Calgary Flames are a top 10 team in the National Hockey League. Well, what if they don't drop? What if they're as deep into it as they are today, or they're at least, more or less a playoff lock when you get to around the 7th of March? Then what does he do? And like every general manager, even when you face the somewhat unexpected, which is, again, the Calgary Flames being where they're at the trade deadline, you feel a sense of obligation, certainly not to mortgage the future, but to bring in as much help as you can afford. So he's not willing to say he's going to be aggressive at the trade deadline. I mean, hell, it's months away. But if this team is still very much in the thick of things, then they won't mortgage the future, but they'll do everything they can to reward the group for a job well done.
We've talked about this a bunch, Dregs. Like, it's exactly what they need. How often do you see a player or an asset like that actually change hands in season? Like, is it once every 2-3 years? Like, it seems rare to give up someone 22 to 25 that's a centerman that could play in the top 6.
Even your older players, right? Like, and we're being very specific to center, but that's why there was some shock and awe when you saw Chris Kreider's name hit the speculative wire earlier this week out of the New York Rangers, and only because players like that normally aren't traded in season, but it does happen. And I think back to the deal that Buffalo and the Vegas Golden Knights made for Jack Eichel. That was not an easy deal to make, right? It wasn't. There was the uncertainty of Jack Eichel's health. The tens of millions literally guaranteed based on his contract. So I kind of revisited that whole process with Kevin Adams earlier this week, and he said, truth is, McCrimmon and I were dealing on this for months. So that's when a deal like that happens in November. It's only because the seed was planted a long, long, long time ago. And I'm getting more of that in conversations that I had this week with general managers, including Conroy, around the National Hockey League, is that, okay, this is what we want. Here's what we feel we need. So you just lay it out there. And you do have to be willing to talk about some of the pieces, parts, assets that you'd be able to include in a deal. He's not going to speculate on that with any of us in the media, but that's how the process starts. So it's unlikely that a player of that significance, that perfect fit for Calgary, is going to land anytime soon, but they're doing okay without it. So maybe that's part of the bigger list as you get into February.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.